Hi everyone. Today I was just going to talk about the Serenity Loom that I finally managed to get. It was on offer and it came rather quickly. But unfortunately the packing wasn't done well, and a couple of the pegs here, you can see them here, I actually had to glue them, they were broken. I think the packing was bad and something pressed against it and then it broke. But I won't be using this for making a blanket or anything like that. I just needed it to make larger pieces than the 22 or 18 inch long loom that I have, and the round loom can make up to 19, the largest one that I have. So I wanted something that could make maybe, some of the patterns that you find actually ask for 40 inches and 30, 40 inches, so you can't really make them on the other loom. So that's why I decided to buy this Serenity Loom. Now the interesting thing about this Serenity Loom is that when it came with a little leaflet, that kind of described it, and it says that it can go up to 115 inches. The flat panel that you can actually knit on this, and it gave as 102 pegs gives you about 50 inches. Now the funny thing is, when I did a swatch, because I wanted to find out exactly how much this Serenity Loom could actually do, if I did the calculation using the figures that they gave, that is the 102 by gives you 50 inches, I would, if I wanted a 10 inch, I would have to cast, if I wanted to do a 10 inch, I would actually have to cast 20 pegs, you see, which is what I did. I cast 20 pegs here, and this, by the calculation of the number of pegs that they gave and telling you that the flat panel will be a certain size, 20 pegs should give me 10 inches, but it doesn't. It gives me 6 inches. So I've done this swatch, and with this swatch I intend to get myself the proper gauge for this loom before I decide to do or use it to adapt any patterns and to work with it. But the nice thing about this loom is that, if you notice, look at the stitches here, right? The stitches, I used some of the leftover thread from the raglan topper that I made, This one, the stitches are a little smaller than what the long loom produces. This loom, what it does, this particular loom gives a certain size of the stitch, if you use this particular yarn. But I've got a project on right now on it. I'm making a child sweater. This particular the distance between this is more than the distance between the pegs here. Also, these pegs are taller, If you put them side by side, you can see that. You see that? Wait, hang on, let me bring them, you see? You can also see that those pegs, the long loom pegs, actually have a larger distance between them. These pegs have a shorter distance, and that is the reason why they actually create a smaller stitch. The stitch size, is smaller. Actually, the work on this is kind of fine. Only problem is you can't put your fingers in between these pegs, So, casting on and working with it is a little tough. I'll also show you how to work with this, But actually, Virginia Galligan has a very, very nice video. She actually sits you down and works with the loom, and she shows you how to continuously turn the loom round and round while you work with it. And this way, you get the best out of the loom without struggling and trying to put yourself in awkward positions, trying to knit or purl or do anything on these Serenity looms. Okay, I thought for a bit I'll just show you how to work the loom, so that you have an idea of how, so that you're not intimidated by using this Serenity Loom, I don't know whether you can see. Yeah, you can see. So I'm just working my swatch. I will be working a pattern with this, and I'll put it up later after I finish the child sweater. part is just actually just wrapping, because my fingers can't go in between. But I think Mikey from the Crochet Corner, I think, what craft, no, I don't remember what the name of their site is. He suggests getting one of those straws, you know, those hard straws. You get one of those hard straws, and then you thread the thread through those straw, and then you use the straw and go round and round, which is quite a good idea actually, but I couldn't find anything, so I'm just using my hand. You got to put it in. Usually what I do is I used to go in between the pegs and push it down, but you can't do that with this. Now as you work, you turn it, see, lie it on your shoulder or something like that, and continue working, you know, so that of course I'm still learning how to use this. Then you just, actually I found it easier to work with this loom actually with my left hand. I know that sounds a bit like as if I'm trying to show off, but no, seriously, it is actually easier with this hand. I know it looks like it's not as fast as the long or the round loom, which is probably true, you know, it probably isn't as fast, but with practice I'm sure you can get better at it. Okay, then you come back again. What is important is that you keep turning the loom, you know, work with the loom. As Virginia puts it, work with the loom, not against it. Now I'm only going to do it little by little, you know, I'm not going to just wrap the whole thing and then come back and knit it off. I don't think that's a very good idea, you know, considering how close these, oh goodness, my glass strap got stuck. Alright, considering how close these pegs are, I wouldn't advise you going about trying to, you know, completely wrap all of them and then come back and try and knit them off. You'll make a mistake for sure, I guarantee. Work them a few at a time. I think these looms, I will probably not try anything fancy on them in terms of stitching, you know, the stitches, not stuff which has pearl and alternate stuff like that. I'll just probably only knit stitches on them, and I'll use it for the larger pieces, you know, that I have. Some patterns that I found on the internet require you to use something like 40 inches. There's one particular wrap that I found that's very, very nice. It's done in a single piece, which has got 2 holes for arms. And so it's actually, I think the size of it is 40 by, I don't know, 50 something, I think. So you need to have one side of it has to be larger, you know. The 40 inch is the smaller of the 2 sides, you see. So you can do the 40 inch on this. So let's have a look at the swatch. I was told that I should actually use a metal ruler to measure the swatch. So let's have a look at that. I do have a metal ruler somewhere. I used to anyway. Someone took my metal ruler and didn't give it back. Ah no, there it is. Okay. Now, this is the swatch. You can see it now. Apparently I'm supposed to use a metal ruler. Why does the metal ruler? No, it's 6 inches. The metal ruler gives exactly the same size as the tape did, 6 inches. So for 20 pegs is 6 inches. That will be the gauge for this loom. This particular loom that I gave the, I can put the actual product link in at the bottom. I'll put it down at the bottom so that if you buy this loom, you will know the exact gauge. I just wanted to show you this next to the one that I worked on, the long loom, the large long loom. As you can see from the stitches, this one is larger than these. So the Serenity Loom, the stitches are actually smaller. Each stitch is actually smaller. The yarn is exactly the same, but the one on the long loom is bigger, the stitches, you know. So you will probably get a finer knit stitch on the Serenity Loom. Well, hopefully after I've managed to finish the child sweater, I'll try and work a piece that will require the Serenity Loom, and then you can see how, get an idea of what you can do with that loom.